It's just a really magical place to be. And I know that might sound a little woo for some of the people watching, but really, like, when you combine the tactical stuff with the mindset and some of that, magic, really cool shit happens. There's nothing like this. I haven't experienced anything like this. And it's just been, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, damn, like, yeah, this is my life. Having men show up that way together, where it's not like, well, fuck you, you did this. It was like, hey, man, this is the experience that I felt during this process. There's no greater gift that you can give yourself than to find a group of men that will support you, uplift you, hold you accountable, call you forward into the greatness that you want.
I'm Christopher John Stubbs. If you don't know me, I'm founder of the Wolf Pack, where we're leading men into deeper intimacy and higher levels of income. In this interview, where Jody and I are going to be talking and sharing a discussion, we're going to dive into what has taken place for Jody, coming from a place of sleeping on his brother's couch, letting his external circumstances dominate his internal state of being, to learning how to shift his internal state of being into creating a reality that he loves, and all that has transformed or taken place in his life through that, in his relationship situation, his finances, and the various areas. Jody is an amazing man who's done a lot of internal work and been showing up amazing and has the most amazing transformational experience. And he's here to share it with us today. So welcome to the call. And real quick, if you have not yet joined our Wolf Pack community, we have a group on Facebook. It's called the Wolf Pack. And accompanied with this video, in the comments or the description or wherever this ends up, there will be a link. If you're ready to have the type of results and experience that Jody has created for himself by surrounding himself with these type of amazing men and tools and processes and all the things, you'll want to start by joining that free Facebook group so that we can begin to get you the resources you need to get there. It's free, it's powerful, it's an amazing step to take. So I highly recommend you get that done. Hello, everybody. Jody, welcome to the call. Thank you for taking time to come share your experience.
My sincere pleasure, brother. Thank you for having me.
Gladly. So can you tell us a bit about what was happening, what were in a kind of more of a bullet point form, but you can add a little story and explanation and context to it. What was happening for you prior to joining Wolfpack and Men of Sovereignty?
So prior to joining the Wolfpack Men of Sovereignty, first things first, I went through a divorce in 2015. And from there, that kind of just spiraled a whole lot of things out of control for me. So it opened up my awareness to all of the fucking bullshit that I was packing on myself and taking on by not taking radical responsibility, by not being the creator of my life. All of the areas where I had energy leaking, where I was out of integrity, where I was being dishonest with everybody, including myself. And so really my divorce was actually a blessing in disguise, especially now for everybody involved. But from there, like I said, things just spiraled out of control. My mindset was exposed to being just weak, morally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, just bankrupt in all the ways. And so I got to a point where I just had run out of options, a lot of things. And it was just like, well, what to do now? And at that point, one of my brothers, my biological brother, just side note, I'm adopted, so that's why I refer to him as such. It said, hey, come out to California, crash here, get your shit together, just take some time and space to really just get your feet back under you. So went to California in 2017, spent 5 years there, nearly 5 years there, just going on this journey inward. and just healing all of the things, facing all of the things, pulling out all the skeletons out of the closet, all of the stuff out from under the rug, shining the light on all of the stuff that I put in the dark, all the, those bastard stepchildren or whatever that we don't talk about. We don't, you don't see them, you don't speak them, you don't hear about them, nothing. And it was all time for all those things to just come out and just be put in the light. And in the meantime, you and I have been doing work off and on for the better part of about 15 years now since we first met. And so just really taking all of that stuff to heart and really taking it on and going, okay, if I created this divorce and the situation and all these things that I've created up until I was 35, I also have the same power like to create everything else that I'm desiring and asking, like really truly asking for in my world, an epic relationship, the career that I want, the passion and purpose that I know I'm here to shine and be. And, but yeah, up until joining the Wolfpack there and the Men of Sovereignty rather too, there was a lot of stuff that I was doing on my own. And even sometimes where I remember you getting on the phone with me and going, like, God damn it, Jody, like, when are you going to stop doing this shit on your own, man? When are you going to use the support of all of these amazing people that are around you? And luckily, like right around the time when I was hitting kind of the crest of where I felt like I was going on my own and could go on my own. I saw your post about the Men of Sovereignty, and it was just an instant no-brainer, like just like absolutely fuck yes, all the fire emojis and the rock-ons, and like let's do this. And from there, it's been its journey for sure. And I've still had some ebbs and flows within that group and within my being, like going through that. But and really, in the last couple of months, like 6 months now, it's just been like there was just the runway, and now we're just taking the fuck off, and it's just been so amazing. It's just like all of the momentum that's been building finally got to that pressure point, and it has exploded. And I know it might sound like unbelievable because there's sometimes where I wake up and I'm like, man, is this really my life? This is fucking amazing. Like the unshakability, the unfuck with ability. And I've had some tests in the last 6 months with relationships, with losses of people leaving, and moving on to wherever the next part of this life journey is. And things with cars and vehicles and stuff that have really challenged me. And it's been a really awesome test of my personal mettle to see, okay, am I learning and have I practiced enough and integrated the things that we've been learning in the Men of Sovereignty and the Wolfpack that shows me that, like, yeah, I mean, we never arrive, but I've definitely stepped myself up a few notches with the help of the brotherhood that we have.
At least a few.
At least a few.
What are some of the symptoms? So some things have changed. Back when we first met, your health was shit, and you handled that for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
But you were still struggling in relationship. You were still struggling in finances. And if I'm accurate, your spirituality was maybe so-so?
I would say non-existent. Yeah, so-so's that's being generous.
Okay. So you pretty much had dialed your health pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but your health, relationships, and finances were still struggling.
Right.
And what would you say about your health, finances, and relationships now? Post rites of passage.
Post rites of passage. Health is dialed in. I'm currently training for my first Spartan race that's coming up in July. I also committed to do a Ragnar, which, if people watching this who know me, they know that my mantra is running is for criminals. So to go out and do and commit to something that involves nothing but running, to me is a big step forward and a big step up. But it's also challenging me to not only keep my health and fitness at the level that it's at, which is really at an all-time high in the last 2.5 years, probably since about 2021. But it's also helping me expand and open my awareness and my desire to try new things to other levels as well. In terms of the money and the finances, man, that is huge because, again, like you said at the beginning of this stream, let all the external circumstances dictate my worth, my value, my security, my ability to connect not only with myself and my spirituality, who I consider God, the relationships with my kids, with the mothers of my kids in romantic relationships as well, and to see the progress and hear the progress and the reflections that I receive from the people that I'm engaging with. It's just been a testament to the work that we've been doing. And in the last couple of months, it's been really cool to bring in and attract and connect with this really amazing, beautiful like lady that has just been such a light in my life. And it's not that she's making me happy. It's not that she's completing me, because I've already done that in the last several years. And now this is just icing on the cake. This is a complementary relationship where we're just learning, growing, and doing all of this ascension and growing together.
So relationship front back in the day was like dysfunction, codependence, victim, villain, hero, drama triangle, all the stuff.
I'm gonna throw in cheating, philandering, like all the things.
And then it evolved into back and forth between single and relationships that they weren't everything that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And now through the process, you integrated into being whole with or without that. And then lo and behold, just like it happens every time, somehow magically out of nowhere, when they didn't exist before, you have the best relationship of your life. Is that accurate to say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
By far, is it accurate to say best by far?
By far. And nothing against previous relationships. They were all great for learning, growing, expanding, and lots of fun. But this one, there's nothing like this. I haven't experienced anything like this. And it's just been, again, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, damn, like, yeah, this is my life.
And back in the day, you used to have these emotional roller coasters where when shit went your way, it was good. And when shit didn't go your way, you were down. What's happening with that?
Oh yeah. So again, like all the external things, when things were rocking, I was just floating on cloud nine. And when things didn't go right, man, I was just in the depths. It would just like kick the rug out from under me, or whatever the phrase is, and I'd just be tumbling and spiraling. And again, with the warrior rite of passage specifically, and since about September, something's just clicked, and it's not much different than I was already doing, but there were some subtle differences and some bigger differences as well. That it's just like I feel like it doesn't matter what can come at me. Not that that's an invitation, universe, but what I am saying is that when things do come up and when things happen, I've got the tools, I've got the skill sets, the mindsets, and I have the brotherhood and the support of the men of sovereignty, the wolf pack, where there's just no worries, like Hakuna Matata, like all the way.
So epic. And then money, sleeping on your brother's couch, living with other people, got into a good place, love where you live, love your living situation. And back in the day, driving shitty cars, now you drive a car you love.
Mm-hmm.
You live in a place you love. And you used to, money, it was like, oh man, how am I going to pay my bills? What are you experiencing with money now?
So yeah, it was always about like just like squeaking by to the next check. Like there was always more month at the end of the money. And now it's just recently have come into a space where there's an additional almost $1,000 extra per month, which is phenomenal starting in February. I have all of the money to meet all of my agreements and obligations for the most part, and still climbing, always climbing. And there's still plenty of room for play. There's plenty of room for fun. It's like, it's almost like I can just metaphorically reach into my pocket and always have the amount of cash that I need. And now I'm moving from that space of surviving into just hitting baseline to really moving into that thriving space now. Like I feel like I've taken some really bigger steps into the thriving space than ever before. And that's what feels just absolutely amazing.
And you're tapping on the door of moving from into the investor world, like starting to be able to invest and get money working for you and all of that. Now that you've overcome Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, your emotions aren't up and down all the time. Your bank isn't in the negative all the time. You're on top of things and you're actually allocating money to be investing and start getting your money working for you to actually get out of the rat race completely.
Yes.
Accurate?
Accurate.
How does that feel?
It feels great. It feels light. It feels like weight is coming off of my shoulders in a big way. And I preach about this a lot as a fitness trainer, as a transformation specialist, that it's not just the physical weight that we carry, but it's the energetic weight, the burdens, the stresses of what we consider this everyday life. And when we can get those things into a space that I'm starting to get into on a regular basis now and have been for a couple of months, the weight just comes off, and it's just a really magical place to be. And I know that might sound a little woo for some of the people watching, but really, like, when you combine the tactical stuff with the mindset and some of that, magic, really cool shit happens.
Yes, yes, yes. So substantial gains financially, substantial gains relationally, substantial gains in spirituality. We haven't talked about the spirituality yet, but I also heard you speak to a better work-life balance in the mix of all that. Is that accurate?
Yes, work-life balance, and it's wild because I'm taking on more tasks than I ever have before. Finding ways to get it done. Like I'm collapsing time, and
Yep.
it's more of like a self-management thing as well,
Yes.
where time is it's becoming this slipstream, and I'm getting shit done. I'm getting it done with quality. I'm getting it done with efficiency, and I still have time to do all the things that I want to do, like play with my crystal ball and hang out with my kids and hang out with my girlfriend and just be present and not have lingering in the back of my mind, well, I
Yep.
should be working, I should be making money, I should and shouldn't all over myself.
I remember spending years in that place of constantly like, I don't have enough time. What am I going to do? All those things. And so moving from that to, and being out of integrity often,
Hmm.
making agreements, not following through. And I've experienced a huge up level in when you commit to something, it happens versus back in the day, it was like maybe, maybe often, but not always.
Yeah, and that's true. I would say, and I talked about the integrity and honoring and really dishonoring my word,
Mhm.
saying yes to things that really weren't a yes to me, and then failing to complete and follow through on those things. I am, number one, becoming a lot more intentional and judicious about what I say yes to and choosing what I say no to from an authentic space. Again, another one of those rites of passage tools, and just knowing that what I speak, what I write, what I say, what I commit to, that is my word. That is my power of creation.
Yes. So prior to the rites of passage and all the years of personal development that you've done in a short form, kind of bullet points through words, what were the types of things, books, podcasts, seminars, workshops, like what had you tried prior that didn't get you through the into this place that you're at, that the rites of passage did get you through?
So, trying to do things on my own, using all of the knowledge that got me to where I was. Books, but never like, and here's the thing with books for me is reading all of the books, like 20 books a year, but never actually implementing anything out of them. Attending seminars and retreats and tribe events and things like that, but again, not taking the time and giving myself the gift of integration. Lots of YouTube videos, self-help type things, do it yourself kind of things, and the theme within all of those is, while I was still doing a lot of things within community, within tribe, and some of the things on my own, there was still a lot of lone wolf stuff going on, just trying to do it all on my own. I don't need the help, or too prideful or embarrassed to ask for the help.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of men out there that don't realize the reality that lone wolf syndrome kills, it destroys, it keeps you stuck. Like it's such a big deal because most of us haven't had an environment of men that either the men like they that was so conducive. So what would you say about that to a lone wolf out there? What are the caliber of men like in our groups of men, and how important is that?
The caliber of men in our groups are, there's nothing like these men. They show up with heart. They show up open and vulnerable, and committed to taking action, committed to doing the work, committed to showing up regardless of how many times they get knocked down. They always get back up. They just continue to show up over and over and over again. And to be in a group like that, because that's been me too. Even when I did it alone, it was always, okay, just get knocked in the teeth and take the hit, get back up, dust off, and keep moving forward. But there's something about having a group of men that have done that are showing up in this group, that are continuing to do the work, but will not offer a hand to like help save you, but will offer the hand to support and be like, you got this, brother. Like, keep going and we got you. And no matter what, like, we'll offer the support, we'll help you, but we're going to give you the space to navigate it, to go through it, to take the action, to make some mistakes if needed, and to learn from them and grow through them. And we're doing it together. Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing it on your own.
Love all of that. Thank you. So, what about we get on the calls, we do breath together? That's powerful.
Mhm.
We go through the progress compass. If you just did that on your own, it would be powerful for self-awareness of and a compass to know, where am I at? Where am I going? What do I need to do next? And all the other things on all the levels. So, so powerful.
Mhm.
And then we have the hot seats where we don't only encourage each other and provide a safe place, we share every resource we've got at our hands, so that it's like, oh, you need this connection, you need this resource, you need this introduction, you need this network, you need this strategy, you need this game plan, you need this this education, you need whatever it is you need. You have 13 men on that call that are some of the brightest, most emotionally intelligent, grittiest, most dependable, reliable, honest, authentic, real, humble, powerful, successful, all the things. And the commitment to each other's well-being, like the statement we use in the wolf pack often is strong alone, stronger together, or high tide raises all ships, and things like that. So you talked about the culture and the men. What would you say about the process of meeting weekly, taking time to breathe, going through the progress compass, and having hot seats in the entire experience? What would you say about that to someone who doesn't have that in their life?
Well, first I'll start by sharing a story, and then I'll kind of bring it back and loop it back to the process and how significant and impactful that is in a positive way. So, you and I, along with a number of our brothers in the Men of Sovereignty, showed up in 2022. We just wanted to go get together and attend an event together, but really just do some guy things together. Go climb a mountain, go jump in a cold lake in the middle of the mountain, and just connect as brothers. And then we did that, and there was an event that we all planned to go to and show up and be present and learn and grow together. And as we showed up to that group and we went through that group, long the short of it is that we got so much feedback about how dialed in, present, centered, aligned, grounded, strong, masculine, all the things that we were, from not only the women that were at that group, but even from the men that were at that group that weren't a part of our Men of Sovereignty at the time. And so, to bring that all the way back to what your question was about the importance of meeting weekly, we do connect on a weekly basis. We breathe together on a weekly basis. Sometimes we cry together on a weekly basis as we're sharing stories and sharing the challenges and the wins throughout our week. We get angry together, and sometimes we get to even have some heart to hearts where we've been out of integrity with each other. You and I had that in April, and we got to have a very like heart to heart, but very conscious and loving conversation about it. And there's just nothing more powerful than showing up that way and having men show up that way together, where it's not like, well, fuck you, you did this. It was like, hey, man, this is the experience that I felt during this process. And my experience of you was, X, Y, and Z. And me going like, yeah, I recognize that. And holy shit, how can I make this right? And in the future, this is what I'm committed to in terms of changing my behavior and showing up in a more present and reading the room and the situation in a much better way. So having that group meet on a weekly basis like this on camera, so we can see each other, we can experience each other's like energies, and get a gauge of how present we truly are on the call, is there just is so much power. I'm like not having the words to really communicate and
Mhm.
articulate how truly powerful and life altering that is. And we've been doing this now, like we're coming up on 2.5 years of consistently doing that. I don't think we've missed one call. At least it hasn't been run, individually we have, but that call's gone on every Tuesday now for almost 2.5 years.
So for men that are where you used to be, what would your number one piece of advice, like if they're out there watching this and they're inspired by what they're hearing, what would you tell them?
I would say to them, brother, please get radically honest with yourself about where you're at compared to where you say that you want to be. And get crystal fucking clear. Do you really want to be in a different spot than you are now? Because if you don't, then all good and you're fine and you're right where you need to be. And if you're not, be honest. Be truthfully, like radically, like just totally honest with yourself. And then from there, reach out to somebody, reach out to some men, reach out to, even me. You can reach out. You can reach out to Christopher because that's how he and I started, by just a simple showing up at a thing that he did back in 2008. And I had no idea who he was. And here we are 15, 16 years later, still running strong, stronger than ever. There's no greater gift that you can give yourself than to find a group of men that will support you, uplift you, hold you accountable, and call you forward into the greatness that you know that you want.
Thank you for that, Jody. I absolutely agree. And you've heard me say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is now.
Mm-hmm.
So for the guys that are watching, they're like, yeah, I know I need to do that. What would you say about that? Why now versus later?
Well, one of our guys said this so perfectly in our group a few weeks ago, and he said, the only thing you get by waiting is older. So, like, there really is nothing to wait for. If if there's scared, if there's fear, if there's embarrassment, if there's shame, I can tell you that I felt all of those things, and I hesitated to pull the trigger and reach out to people, including Christopher, numerous times when I knew he was there for support and I knew he would have my back. But I still had all of those feelings that held me back. And I can say, like, without a doubt, that if you reach out to somebody, they're going to be there for you. There's no time like now, except for 20 years ago, but now is the time. Like, give yourself that gift and do it now.
Beautiful. Would you say it would be a good idea to join? So we have a free resource. We have a community of men that are committed to being the best versions of themselves. A community of men who are ever growing and evolving into that greatest version of themselves so that they can show up as the husband that they want to be, the father they want to be, the provider they want to be, the protector they want to be, and to break the family patterns that are destructive and instead pass on to the future generations a life and a world that they're glad to hand off to their children and proud to hand off to their children, where their children can build off of their shoulders instead of having to tackle what they weren't willing to tackle. Would you say that joining our free community, literally loaded with cool men, free resources, guidance, support, all the things, would you say that that would be an amazing step for them to take now?
Unequivocally, yes. And I'll say this too. I have been in a number of other different men's groups with more men in the group, but also a lot more chatter, a lot more conversation that really isn't relevant to really creating the life of our highest choosings. And in this group, the free group, the Wolf Pack, the conversations are intentional. The conversations are on purpose, and the free resources in there aren't just some rinky-dink little things. Like, this is the stuff that if you implement it, will absolutely be game changers for your lives, for your relationships, for your careers, for your finances, for your spirituality, your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Like, there's a gold mine in there that I think even a lot of people in the group don't realize is there sometimes. And when they do, they're like, oh, and it really opens them up to, like, holy shit, like, there's some gold in here that we're just sitting on.
We're not giving fluffy surface level shit. Straight up meat and potatoes. If you apply it, it'll change your life.
Yep.
So, Jody, will you tell them a bit about who you are and what you do so that if someone's out there looking for that, they can connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, I am finding this new term that has just fit really well, and it's transformation facilitator and specialist. And I start because of my journey. It all started with getting my body right. And so when you work with me, we start with the body. I'm a certified personal trainer, but I've also been doing a lot of mindset work, a lot of work on emotions, emotional intelligence, and I've studied like countless hours, all the things. Um, and I know a lot of trainers, they teach body, and that's it. So you can look good and you can look amazing, but then you go off into the world and you still hate your job. You still hate the relationship you're in. You still hate where your finances are. And I'm here to address all of that. So body, mind, life.
Beautiful. So, if you feel inspired by Jody and a resonance with him, reach out to him, connect with him, DM him, follow his stuff. He's an amazing man, been doing the work deeply. He makes a huge difference in his clients' lives. He's just a good person to have in your life. If you haven't joined the Wolf Pack yet, do it. If you're in there, get your ass in gear and apply all the stuff we're sharing with you. We're here to change lives. We're here to create a beautiful future for ourselves, for our loved ones, for the world. We're doing it together, one man at a time. Strong alone, stronger together. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.